for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening, Fade to Black. Today is Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Let's do this. Man, you know what to do. Help support the show. Get yourself a Fade to Black T-shirt. Everything is signed. Everything includes a shipping. There's 2 shirts, 2 ways to get them. Get a Game Changer membership today. Help support the show. Everything that we do around here. 2 links are below. All right. Ooh, what a week on Fade to Black. Mary Rodwell, Whitley Strieber, last night William Henry, and tonight Sarah Breskman Cosme is with us. Tonight it is the regression of Mr. Church. Yeah, something I said I would never do. And, for 10 years on this show, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I just want to leave stuff where they are. Whatever happened. I don't need to know. Right? Well, let me set up the show a little bit before I bring in Sarah. So I know a lot of therapists. I know all, and they have all suggested to me, Jimmy, let's do a session. Let's, And then last year, Sarah and I, now she's been on the show many times, and Sarah and I went on a cruise and with a bunch of other people, and we went down to Mexico. And at the beginning of the cruise, everybody, I'm talking about I just stepped on the ship, right? And I'm coming through, and I knew that I needed to do a couple of things that I wanted on these shore excursions. So I'm kind of looking around at the big ship. And at that moment, Sarah, Jimmy, Sarah, what's going on? She's the first person I see. And what are you doing? I said, well, I'm planning my shore excursions. What do you want to do? I said, well, I want to do this. So do I. I want to do this. So do I. I want to do this. Let's go. So we went and from that moment forward on this cruise, Sarah and I, her husband is at home with the kids. I'm alone on the cruise. And so we just it was like the buddy system. And we spent the week together on this cruise, and we had an amazing time. Now, but here's the thing. So in all of this, I got to, I'm hosting this group, and I got to watch Sarah do a session. And there was probably 50, maybe 100 people in this room and watching this. And I'm in the back and just watching the whole thing go down. And I went, this is pretty cool. And listening to the conversation and all of that. And that's one thing. But I was watching the way Sarah did things, her technique, and the style of it, and it started clicking in my. I would be comfortable with doing a session with Sarah. I think So anyway, the cruise ends, but this idea is bubbling in my head, and then, as we started to set up season 2 for Into the Vortex, and we're laying stuff out, with my team, I had this idea, and it just came to me. I went, what if we did this on camera? So I thought through it and did the pitch right, to my team. And they said, let's do it. Let's go for it. So I called Sarah. I wanted to make sure that everybody was comfortable in doing this and how we would set this thing up. So I called Sarah, and Sarah's like, dude, what are we waiting for? Let's do this. So we did it. And with that, I won't bore Sarah with this part of the conversation. I was very concerned with the lighting. It's cameras, lights, people. And so I talked through this with my team, and I said, so no, we're going to do this. We're going to have this. We're going to have candles. It's going to be dark. Nobody's going to be in the room. I said, okay. All right. All right. So when I arrived on set, I was so relieved because I wanted to make sure that I could have a session. I didn't want to not have this happen. And you know what I mean? Like, can I be regressed? Can I or can I be hypnotized? I didn't know, but I wanted to make sure that everything was just right. So and it was, and I was so comfortable, and we pulled it off. So with that, Sarah Breskman Cosme is with us tonight. She's an author of many books: The Hypnotist Journey to Atlantis, The Hypnotist Journey to the Secrets of the Sphinx. She's a master hypnotist. And by the way, she does stuff all around the world. Right now, she is in another city in Florida tonight because she is teaching classes. And that is what she is doing now. She's at an Airbnb somewhere in Florida. By the way, links for Sarah, the holistic, the holistic hypnotist. That's her site. The links are below over on our website and also throughout social media. I would like to welcome back to Faded Black Sarah Breskman Cosme. There she is. How are you doing? Everything good?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me again. It's such an honor.
Oh, stop with all that. It's just great to have you here. And, with your busy schedule and everything else, we've got the Conscious Life Expo coming up here in a couple of weeks. You're going to be there. And I thought, well, first off, I want to have you on because we're friends and it's always a great show. There's that part. But there's the Conscious Life Expo, and then there is the session that we did, of course, for my TV show, Into the Vortex. I thought, let's wrap all of this into one. And you said, I can't. I'm booked, Jimmy. I can't possibly. I said, yeah, you can. We have to figure this out. And so tonight you're at an Airbnb and you made it happen. So thank you so much, Sarah. Oh man. So I want to start here. Now I have got Sarah has seen okay. Let me actually start here, Sarah. I have not watched our episode. Okay. Yeah. It's difficult. I didn't, and I didn't want to do it. For my own personal reasons. The second thing is when after the day after our session, we taped the show, and the producers and the staff looked at. I didn't want to see it. I did not want to know, and so they reviewed. They chose the stuff that we had on the show. Why? Because I wanted to see it for the first time. And I wanted to have a natural, not only reaction, but conversation about it. And so after that, I was done with it. And I was given the video from the show, but I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it until right now, before our show today. So I don't know we did it almost a year ago. Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. It was about a year ago, somewhere in there. Okay. And so I know basically what we did on the show on Into the Vortex. So in looking at our session, I want everybody to know I'm being very transparent here that I wanted to get to clips and stuff that wasn't on Into the Vortex, number one. Number two, I want everybody to go and watch Into the Vortex for those reasons I just gave. It was the first time. It was the day after the session. My mind was still reeling. I was trying to recall things that happened during the session. And all of that is captured on Into the Vortex. So after today's show, if you haven't seen it, go over to Gaia and watch season 2 of Into the Vortex, and you can watch Sarah and I's episode. Okay, so that'll set up everything. I've got 10 clips tonight for everybody. There may be some overlap. I don't think, but again, we shot it a year ago. But I most of this, if not all of it, is not in our episode of Into the Vortex. So let's start here. What was typical about our session? You do a lot of them, right? What was typical about our session that was in the normal in the lane?
Well, at first I was worried that you would be able to relax and really go into that deep state, but I could tell you were definitely in hypnosis. I mean, when people see the clips, it'll be obvious. But also, I thought what was very typical was the way you were describing these experiences. And then most importantly, the way you were all of a sudden speaking in a third person. I mean, I've never heard you speak in a third person before. And it was very typical of like a typical session where the higher consciousness comes and speaks through you, so I thought you did an excellent job with that.
Yeah, okay. That's actually a good place to start. Is the very beginning. Now, the higher self part, I knew. Okay. Also, if for total transparency here, everyone, Sarah and I discussed nothing. Okay, so I wanted to allow her to just be free to open me up and get inside of my mind. But I didn't want to have anything preloaded. There was nothing on the table, and that's it, right? And so, in watching the session, almost out of the gate, you started talking to my higher self. We're going to get to that in just a second, everybody. Just be patient. I didn't know what the higher self was. I didn't, and as this was happening, I just remember, and we'll get to the clips in a second, thinking to myself, who's talking here? Right? I was like, what's going on? Who is there a third person in the room? Yes, there was. And that was a very bizarre situation. So here is everybody. Let's get straight into it. This is the very beginning of the session as Sarah brings me under. I took out, there was some stuff. I forgot some of the things that I said. But I said, are you going to, can you make me bark like a dog? And you said, do you want to? And I just remember that I forgot that we had that part of the conversation, and that was at the very beginning, and before I was brought under. But I remember thinking to myself, he's in control, right? She's in control, And so anyway, let's go to this first clip, and again, I'm letting it all hang out tonight. Everybody. So check this out. This is the very, very, very beginning. Let's see. Oh, actually, let me fast forward.
Yeah.
This is literally the beginning.
Okay. Into the vortex, regress. Take one marker.
Okay, hold on for a
The
second.
behind the scenes is interesting.
Yeah. Let me.
You're going to start to feel a really good sense of relaxation.
Let me fast.
Relaxation.
Are you going to
You'll
hypnotize
notice
the
like
audience?
this euphoria
Yeah.
spread throughout your body. Have you ever taken like NyQuil or something like that, and all of a sudden it hits you and you're like, oh, I feel so good?
I have.
Okay, it feels like that. So then you're going to notice that. So you're like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing. Then the euphoria will start to hit your mind, and then your mind will just relax completely. And then you're going to feel like you can tune in super deeply to yourself. And then I'm going to start asking to speak with your higher consciousness. And that feels so easy because the answers will just pop into your mind. So it might feel like you're hearing something, sensing it, or feeling it. And just say whatever it is. So the trick is I'll ask you a question, it will pop into your mind. Just say it, okay?
Will you make me bark like a dog?
If you want.
So to let everybody know, in front of us, there's like a half a dozen cameras. Okay. So there's boom, 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 boom. There's a camera that's just on Sarah. There's a camera that's just on me. There's a couple of wide shots. And behind us is a studio with glass, right? And so the team is in there. In front of Sarah and I is just a bank of cameras going all the way around. And that was the last thing I remember was looking at the cameras. I was like looking at my feet. I had all these pillows, under my legs and stuff. And I was really comfortable. Everything is perfectly in place and it's quiet. And Sarah right now, so we had this brief conversation. It was instant after that. So
I want to. I mean, that would be fun.
Could you?
Am I allowed to? All right, are you ready? Just get yourself comfortable.
Just a small dog. I don't want to bark like a big dog.
Like a whiny dog?
Yeah,
like,
whiny dog. Chihuahua.
Okay. So again, it's really easy. It's just going to feel so good and blissful, and your body will be very relaxed, and your mind will be relaxed. You'll notice that you're going to have a lot less thoughts. So the communication will be very clear when your higher self communicates with you. It'll be like a very strong thought in your mind. The reason why it's so easy is because we're relaxing your conscious mind. And then all the thoughts can be placed into your mind by your higher self.
Now, I want to jump in right here. Sarah and everybody that is watching right now, be very careful in listening to Sarah's voice, because you could be hypnotized right now. Because she has a calming way of speaking, and at this point, I am already like tumbling forward, like right now. I remember that. I remember you talking, and it was how quickly things started to kick off. And did you notice that with me? I mean, did I? I felt, Sarah. I felt, and we're going to be watching this. I thought that I was having difficulty keeping my head straight. I thought I was talking from the side, like, you know what I mean? Like my mouth was facing the couch and my head was turned. Did I relax that much during the session? Because that's the way I felt.
Yeah, you really seem to go into a very deep state. I forget what number it was, but I just also figured, since you do this job and what you do, and you're so connected with all this disclosure movements, that you probably have a lot more knowledge, and you probably are being communicated with the higher consciousness all the time anyway. So I thought you would be able to tune in like you did. So I was very pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So just start by focusing in on your breath. Breathing in fully and deeply. And as you exhale, just release any tension that you store in your body. Just let everything go. Breathing in deeply and fully. And exhaling any tensions, any worries, and any thoughts. Just let them flow right out.
And at this point, Sarah does this countdown, and I don't remember much of it. I remember, Sarah, I want you to talk about this because I'm sure this is part of your training and the way that you get things started. But I remember you saying, okay, I think it was stairs. We're at the top of stairs or something. And I remember that. What I don't remember is anything after that. I remember you saying, okay, we're on stair number 2. I didn't, right? So the gap that was there, and I said to myself, why are you bringing me back out? Right? Like, why? So between the start of that and your count down, I don't know, I don't remember it, to number 2, how long is that? Is that a few minutes? Is it a couple of minutes? Is it a minute?
No, it's I think for yours it was like at least 10 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Okay.
From
Really?
the number 10 all the way down to 1, maybe, give or take. But I think, because it was a while ago, I think that it could have been a little quicker because you seem to go into a deep state pretty quickly. So, but sometimes I do take my time if a person is going up and down their brainwave level, but you seem to sink into it pretty easily.
So, so when you, I remember when you said number 2, and I felt angry because I felt like I was being like sucked out, right, for this brief second, and then I don't remember anything after that. I didn't hear number 1. I don't know if you snapped your I don't know what I don't remember any of that. I just remember the number 2. So that's and you're saying that was a few minutes or maybe 5 to 10 minutes of gap. Yeah. I don't remember any of that. And now that you've just told me, I'm going to go back and watch. I didn't watch the full intro of this. I just grabbed that little clip because I wanted everybody to see the atmosphere and the way that you started the session off. It's boring. I suppose everybody to hear you do that for such a length of time. But immediately after that, which is going to be this next clip, which I'm gonna let me pull this out really quick. Is immediately this higher self, higher consciousness. How do you refer to it?
Like, essentially, when you go deep within anyone, you reach the same place. You reach universal consciousness. So that saying that we're all one, it's actually very, very true. You reach source. So I'm essentially speaking with that universal consciousness that's at the heart of everyone. And it's also, if you can think about it like you are an extension of source, you're pretty much speaking with the source that's flowing through you. You've quieted your conscious mind and you can speak directly to your higher consciousness. It comes through people all the time, even when they're not in this state, but this state makes it easier because you've quieted your mind. But people can say things from their higher self all the time. Like if you're giving your friend advice or you're giving advice and all of a sudden the stream of consciousness just kind of flows through you and gives the best advice to your friend, that's the higher consciousness. It's that feeling in your gut. It's also the gut instinct. It's like that feeling where, some people have this feeling in their gut right before they get into a car and that car will get in an accident. So because of that gut feeling, they know, hey, I'm not going to get in the car. That's the higher self. There's a lot of instances when your higher self will send you messages. You might have a thought all of a sudden come into your mind. And so I just use the term the higher consciousness, but even extraterrestrials can step in and be a part of the higher consciousness because we're all multidimensional. So we have extraterrestrial parts of us right now, even though a lot of people aren't aware of that. Everyone does, actually.
Right. And in this next clip, I'm going to comment after the clip, but this moment, I remember my confusion in my head, hearing this third person suddenly like come into the room and start talking, and it was me, but I was very confused. So here we go. This is how it went down.
I'm seeing something.
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing something that I don't remember.
Tell me about it.
I don't understand.
What are you showing him?
And so so how do I explain this? At that moment, you are talking to my higher self. My higher self shows something to me.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
how it works.
yeah, and I don't understand what I am seeing.
That's how they communicate a lot of times. And they'll show you a picture because you are the root of transmission for this consciousness. So they have to use you to get this information out. And sometimes they'll show you a picture in your mind's eye, or you have a thought or a feeling.
Right. And now this is what I am going to set up for everybody. What was shown to me was, and it was kind of weird in that I was seeing it in the first person, like out of my eyeballs, and I'm standing in this room, and but I don't know what I'm looking. I've never seen it before. I don't know anything. I am absolutely totally confused. What and you're asking what is it that, and I don't know, right? I have no idea what it is. And so I'm going to go straight to this next clip here, so you can start to pick up the vibe of what I am trying to say. Okay, so here we go.
And now can I please speak with this light? Can I please speak with Jimmy's higher self now, please? Do I have permission to speak with Jimmy's higher self now, please? I respect the power of the higher self, and I know you take care of Jimmy's body. I also know you have the records of everything, and I always ask for permission to speak to it and ask questions. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I was wondering, is Jimmy connected in any way to any extraterrestrial races?
Maybe.
What would you like to say about this?
He doesn't have fear.
What do you mean by that?
He's okay with it.
I see. Are there any that have interacted with Jimmy or have contacted him in any way?
Yes.
Which kinds?
Depends.
Depends on what?
He doesn't know.
Are you able to express what his contact has been like?
He doesn't know.
That's incredible. And when what I remember as this was going down, Sarah, was I was listening to this conversation between you and the higher self, right? I was like out here listening, and I just remember going, what are they talking about? Well, he doesn't know. What is it that, and I was so confused. Right? I wanted to jump in on the conversation that you two were having.
A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know, and they don't know what type they're connected with. Maybe they're not supposed to know, but that was interesting when they were like, he doesn't know.
I was like, what? And the other part of this moment, and I just wanted, this is very personal, so just want everybody to know that at this particular moment, with what you are seeing right here, I had no memory. I especially when the session ended, I didn't remember any of this. But what I do recall, and as I watch it here, was my total, absolute confusion as to what was going on, and it was dreamlike, but it was a conversation that it's like I'm sitting at a table, and I'm listening to two people talk in front of me. Right.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. And I was so, and the words and the phrases and the things that were being said were things that I've never said before. And I don't use those words or talk with that cadence or anything. It was very, very confusing to me. When you do a session with somebody, when this happens, is everybody as confused? Because, yeah, am I asking the right question?
Yeah, it feels a little. It does feel interesting because some people describe just feeling so frozen almost in the lounge chair, and it's almost like they are not a part of the conversation. And that can have a very interesting feeling to it. It really gets you to understand how powerful your higher consciousness is, and it's there. It's you. It's you.
Right.
This is
Right.
the part that is really running the show. You're
Now,
just, your ego is not even really you. It's your higher self.
it's okay. So in this next clip, things things are starting to be revealed. And now I will tell everybody a little bit of because I knew nothing about this. So what all of this, not all of it, but what we're presenting right now is Billy Carson and I and Elizabeth, we went out to Palm Springs with a group of people, and we were on the top of this mountain and with night vision and stuff. And at the beginning of the evening, we had just finished dinner and we're on the top of this mountain, and this gold light comes out from the west and it comes right over us, and we're all watching it and we're all talking about it. It stops, it slows down, and then turns and goes straight up into the sky and disappears. And it was pretty amazing to see. That's what this conversation is about. So apparently, as this thing comes by, I didn't know, but that's what my higher self said. And again, this just was all revealed in this session, that for a brief moment, I see inside the ship. Okay. And that's what this next section is. And I am so confused about this whole thing. So here we go.
It's weird. I'm only there for 5 seconds.
And
I'm gone.
how would you describe them?
They said goodbye.
And what? Right
Yeah.
now, I've done a lot of shows. I've interviewed a lot of people that talk about stuff like this, and I listen to everything. I've never heard anything like this.
I
Right? You have 5 seconds, just brief in and out.
Very, very typical. It's very typical. But the thing that's also really, interesting is contact seems to happen in stages. So usually it starts happening in your dream time, and that you're totally aware in your dream time of who you're being contacted by, who you're connected with, but you forget this when you wake up. But usually after that, you have a conscious experience. And a lot of people do describe the light, and basically that's a frequency tool. A lot of people think that they take your physical body, but most of the time that's not the case. And that's why it feels like 5 seconds. That's why it literally is 5 seconds, because you're taken out of your body with this frequency tool. Essentially what it's doing is taking your soul essence, your subconscious, or whatever you want to call that part, taking that aboard the ship. But they can do repair on your light body, and it'll affect your physical body. That's why some people are implanted with their light body and they have an implant in their physical body. So yes, it's very short here on the earth realm place, but when you're taken, it could be a long time, but you could be brought back and it could have only been 5 seconds. Some people are even driving when they have these experiences. Some people take a nap and they have these experiences. So I thought it was very typical what you were describing, and then them saying goodbye to you. I thought it was very typical.
Let's get back into it here. I start to Sarah. There's a gap between the last clip and this one, and Sarah's asking me what I'm seeing in the room, and I can see it, but I spend a lot of time saying I I can't see it. It's dark. But here we go. So check this out.
Everything is dark. It looks like I'm somewhere with no windows. I can't see out.
If you
But
focus,
there's the, everybody's dark.
how would you describe everyone?
10, 10, like 10 people, 10 beings.
How would you
They're
describe?
dark. Everything's dark. It looks like everybody's working.
So
Yeah.
yeah, wow. And what and I think I go into this a little bit further. I do. I just I have a bunch of clips here. So I count, right? I count. And so so I want to describe to everybody exactly why I'm having difficulty in this. So imagine yourself standing in the corner of a room, and the room is out in front of you, and you're in the corner, and the opposite corner's over here. Okay, so I'm looking and to my and I step into I just like appear in this room, and I look around like this, and I kind of hear and see what is going on, and then I'm off. I'm gone. That's it. That's all that happens here. I just turn. I look around the room. I can see some stuff, and then boop, I'm back. I'm back on the ground, and that's it. So I'm describing this very brief scan of the room of what's going on, and there's no windows. There isn't anything there, but there's people sitting, like two are to my left, and they're facing like at a desk. And in front of me, there are two standing with their back to me talking. I see that. And they're like got papers or something. I don't know. But they're talking to each other, and they're back. And one of them turns and looks at me and like says hello or something, or and then goes back to talking. And then over here are three people. I'm saying people because that's and they're all sitting and looking down. And then over to my right are three more facing, and then they're like at a desk or a control, I don't want to say control panel, because that may not exactly describe it right, but it could be, because I could see that their faces were lit up. You know what I mean? Like a glow on them. And so that's what I see going on. Now over, and we'll get to the clips here in just a second, over where the two guys were in the front of the room, or, that were standing, right next to them, there's somebody sitting talking. And I can see him talk. I can see his mouth moving. And that was so strange and so foreign to me. And again, everybody, that's the vibe of what is going on here. And Sarah's trying to get more information out of me. What was going through your mind were you as surprised as I was?
I mean, I thought it was very typical. I mean, you were describing a place with no windows. That's very typical. I thought that was key, actually. And then people working, that's very typical. Also, the fact that you couldn't really see them, that's typical. It's hard to see in your own frequency something of a different frequency. So sometimes they can look blurry or like different or fuzzy. And that's only because you're of a different frequency. And also, the way you were describing their mouth moving, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, okay, I know that a lot of my clients under hypnosis will talk about the grays moving their mouth just a little bit. Like they hardly use their mouth except it does move a little bit. And also, but it could have been a different type, but it's really sounded to me like the grays. And then, sometimes they use this little cube that's actually almost like a oil change that they ingest through their mouth, but it's just to keep their avatar suit um, running smoothly. But the way you were describing that there were 10 and that they were communicating with you like that, and that they were all working, I was like, it really sounds with no windows. It sounded like a typical contact experience with the Grays.
Yeah, and I didn't. So the idea of, well, okay, I couldn't see. I couldn't see walls. Okay, I couldn't see that. I could not see that. There didn't. So I felt that, and this came later as I was, remembering things, because everybody was coming up. Okay, so what else happened, after the session? And I'm sitting, and then I realized it felt like a dome, right? So you couldn't see the walls.
Yeah, and you know what's really fascinating is when people go onto the ship in their memories and they explore, it's like so large, like a city. They have all kinds of things in there, which is so interesting. They have like these tubes where it's kind of like a ball of light, and then they produce the avatar suits out from this like I guess it's soul energy goes into this avatar suit. It's really interesting. They have all kinds of things like in like different rooms and different places. And then it's really interesting, like when people are exploring, because like I was curious, how do they pinpoint who they're contacting? And they have like this kind of technology where it tracks your soul essence. It kind of lights up on their equipment, and they power their equipment by putting their hands in this handprint, is what I've heard. They have like their feet touching the floor and their hands go into these little handprints, and that kind of uses their mind and powers everything when they're trying to go somewhere. But also they have information about their missions and stuff like that in these like different kind of like a table in the center with like holographic images of their missions, and they all talk about what it is that they're working on and their different projects and who they're contacting. So I just find it so fascinating to find out about.
You know what? I've heard and spoken to so many people about this stuff. I got cheated. I didn't get any of that. And I ask people so what were the walls like? What was the floors like? Were there pictures hanging? Was it, there's there, and I want to know. I didn't have any of that.
I thought what you got was really interesting, though. I mean, you did see some pretty interesting details.
Let's keep going. Let's see what's next here.
Just shapes of figures. They look like us, but they're black.
Oh. Tell me more about
Fuzzy, like out of focus.
that. And in this place, do you notice any smells or any sounds at all?
Yeah, actually.
Do you get a
I
sense?
hear them speaking English.
Uh-huh. Do they say anything else?
Just hello. Welcome. That's it. That to me, they were talking to somebody else
And
on
as you
a
notice,
radio.
how do you feel about this? When you hear them or when you're there, do you feel good?
They've been here before, and they were doing something, and I can hear them, I can see the mouth move.
And how do you feel there? Do you get a sense?
I'm a friend that they invited in.
Do you get a sense how
They were
you
cool. They
are
were
a
cool.
friend? Why you? Why did they invite you in? Do you get a sense?
When I was just there for an instant.
Mm-hmm.
Just quick. And then they said goodbye, and I was, as it was pulling away, there was, it wasn't a message. It wasn't like that. There was a thought. It's hard to describe.
What was the
That
thought?
was sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
That I had the right. They understood. They appreciated my point of view.
Oh.
That was the message. That I didn't project fear. That was the message. And I don't remember any of this
Can
until
you
right now.
I was so confused. I was so confused. So now let's break this down for a second right here. I said they were black. And what not African American black. That's not what I'm but they were black. They had shape. They looked human-ish in that they were standing. They had 2 legs, 2 arms. I couldn't make out details like hands or fingers, or it wasn't like that. It was dark and it was fuzzy. But the outside of the shape was just like an out of focus camera. That's the best way I could say it. It was just like fuzzy, not furry, not fuzzy like like a teddy bear. No, it was like blurry. So anyway, but it wasn't too blurry, right? Where I could see, and I could, I couldn't see eyes, but so this, I see this guy talking, and he's speaking English, and it's coming out of his mouth, and I'm watching his mouth, and he's leaning over talking, and I say it there. I say he's talking into a radio, which was just a weird thing for me to say, but it felt like like mission control, like NASA talking to the astronauts, something like that, or airplane tower, air traffic control, where you're talking and you're talking to the pilot, but it was a conversation that wasn't technical. It was weird. It was a conversation like, "Hey man, what's up? Nothing, man. What's going on with you? Nothing, man. We're here. We're just cruising by. All right, man. Hey, man, it's good to talk to you. All right, everything good? Yeah, everything's good. All right." But it was like that. And it was very brief because I just looked through and I just hear this chatter going on between this guy and whoever's coming through. And I could hear the other voice. And I was like, are these guys from California? Because I'm talking about the aliens, if they were, I don't know. But it sounded so natural. It was so conversational. It was bizarre, and it wasn't interesting. It wasn't like I listened. Like, what they're doing? What? No, it was like, hey Bob, hey Bill, how you doing? Good, man. Clocking in. All right, it's good to see you. All right, man. I'll see you later. All right, bye. It was like that.
Whenever I ask, like through the higher consciousness, people that are remembering stuff like this, I'm like, what do you guys talk about? And they're like, we talk about our missions, we talk about like people, just what we have to accomplish and stuff, and work a lot of times, depending on the different groups of extraterrestrials or whatever. But I thought something you said in there was so key, because so many times I hear this in sessions that they will actually really appreciate when a person doesn't have fear, when they have that right perspective like you do, where you understand on a deeper level who you're communicating with, and you're not projecting fear, because it's really difficult not to feel fear. Even people that want to experience contact so much, it's just a different experience when you actually physically are around a being of a different vibration. It can produce fear. Most people feel a great sense of fear. Most people feel like they're being put in an ice bath. That's how most people feel when they're around different groups of extraterrestrials. So, a lot of times they'll say that they wish people had a different perspective, or they wish people weren't afraid. So I thought what you said right there was just very key.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure why I said that, or why, or that I don't know. But the best way that I can describe this to everybody is you're at work and you walk into an office room with a bunch of your coworkers, and they look up and acknowledge you and then go back to their business, right? And you're not afraid of being in that office. You just, that's the way I felt. Like I was just right there, and they looked up and, what's up? He gave me a wave, and what just went about whatever they were doing.
Well, I thought
I wasn't scared. I wasn't tripping out. I wasn't like freaking out and, oh my God, no. I just like, okay, cool.
Well, I was freaking out a little bit because you said something else that I thought was extremely key, because you said we are friends, meaning you are down here, you're friends. I think you're doing work down here, and you're very connected. Possibly. I mean, well, there was some things, that kind of alluded to that during this session. There's so much here, everybody. We can't possibly sit here and analyze every single line, but there were moments like that, and I agree with you, Sarah. Which again, I was very surprised, because it was my higher self that was saying these things. It wasn't me saying it. And that was a very strange take. And I did say some stuff. Well, when we come back after the break, we'll get to some more stuff. It was so much fun, and I'll say this: it was exhausting. It was exhausting.
I don't think I could do this a bunch of times in a year.
Yeah.
You know, we were done. I remember I had to go to the bathroom. So I walk out of the studio and I go down the hall, and it's like I was out of balance, right?
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, man, woo, fa. And I came out, and then there was some people there that knew that this was going on. And somebody says to me, I don't want to say who it was, but anyway, somebody goes, so how'd it go? And I was like, what? Where am I? And I said, man, I'll talk to you about it later. And I was just unpacking everything in those moments after that. It was exhausting. It was there's no way. You need to take a year in between something like this. I don't know how somebody could do this multiple times a year.
Well, when you're doing a session like that, you're really so much is happening to your body. I mean, you're being cleansed and even physically healed during the session. I mean, there's a lot of energy going through your body, and then people get to find out stuff that they never knew. It can be very exhausting. And most people do like a session like this once a year, or sometimes like once every 6 months.
Didn't you ask me? Didn't you ask me at the end? Did you say, okay, is there anything that you need help with? And I said something like, no, I'm healthy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good. That was weird. That was a weird thing for me to say. You know, I should have said, yeah, my back, you know, I got this, or, you know, now I was like, no, I'm good.
But
right?
It was your higher self. Your higher self said, no, he's good.
Is that it's like, what? All right, let's take our break right here. We'll be right back. Sarah Breskman Cosme is with us, and we are talking about the regression of Mr. Church. We've got a lot more clips and a lot more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
My job is not to preach. My job is to take you on this journey.
In a state of passion, nothing negative can happen.
That it's the moons of those planets that would have life.
Sometimes I see, you know, these energies also in your field.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
This is Jimmy Church. Please visit and explore Egypt this October 3rd through the 14th, 2024 with Billy, Elizabeth, myself, and very special guest, Matt LaCroix. It's simple to do. Just go to forbiddenknowledge.com and click on upcoming tours, or click on the link below. We'll see you there. Hi, everybody. Jimmy Church here. Very special announcement, and that is we are shipping Fade to Black T-shirts again. It's been almost 2 years. We did a full upgrade to the website, so you can head over to jimmychurchradio.com. It's all simple to do, and it's right there. Remember, we broadcast 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday. We bring you the best, the brightest, the most knowledgeable and amazing guests, the best conversations. We do that 4 nights a week. We also do 4 days a week. We broadcast the news, and we do that live too as well. It's not a one-man show. I do it with website support. I do it with producers. I do it with writers and artists. All contribute to the show. The best way to help support what we do here is with the Fade to Black T-shirt. And you can get your Fade to Black T-shirt one of 2 ways. First, go to jimmychurchradio.com, order a shirt. It's really that simple. You're going to get a tracking number, it's going to get shipped, and it's going to get autographed. The second way to get a shirt is with a Game Changer membership. Now, the Game Changer membership not only includes a free T-shirt, but you get a private email to me. You get unlimited commercial-free downloads. You have full access to the website, and everything includes free shipping, and everything is autographed. So help support the show. Get your Fade to Black T-shirt today. The links are below. You can just go to jimmychurchradio.com, and it's right on the website. So there you go. I'm Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. I'm so excited that I just have one thing to say. Go Beckley Teppy. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Sarah Breskman Cosme is with us. And to set the stage, I was regressed. I was regressed in studio, live, on camera. And we went into the session with an absolute clean slate. We didn't discuss anything. I told Sarah, I respect her. I trust her. And I said, just do your thing and let's see what happens. And so we're going through all of that. For if you're just joining the show, apparently I didn't know anything about this, and I was told that I didn't know about this, that this craft had flown over, which I was there. I saw that with Billy and Elizabeth Carson, and we had about 20 other people with us. And we watched this gold ball, very low, by the way. It came over us and low, slowed down, and then went straight up into the sky and turned into a star and disappeared. And while that was going on, apparently, I was shown the inside of this craft for a brief second. And that's what was part of what was revealed in this session. And Sarah, what was going through your mind before we get to some more clips here? What was going through your mind as this was revealed? Were you like, what? Because you're hearing it for the first time, just like I was.
Well, I thought it was so fascinating, especially when you were talking about things that you didn't remember consciously. Like he doesn't remember this, or he doesn't know this. So because I'm friends with you and I know you, I was just like, wow. I was thinking at a couple different points, what are you going to think when you wake up, when you wake up from this session, basically. But I thought it was really good session, and very typical of other contact experiences.
Now, here's the other thing, everybody. I didn't know if I was going to be regressed to a past life. Sarah's in control. She's driving the car. So I had no idea. And when the session ended, and I kind of remembered, it took, I remember going back to my hotel that night going, okay, all right. Oh, I remember that. What? I remember what? And that's when I didn't recall virtually anything immediately after the session. I didn't. And I have a clip of when the session ended, everybody. We'll get to that. That was pretty remarkable too, especially for me to see it today, because I haven't seen it at all since the session. So anyway, let's get back into it. I don't know. Let's see what I say next. Here we go.
I think they just wanted to show me that they were in touch with us and that they were discussing something. They were making plans. I could hear the conversation with whoever they were talking to.
And if you focus in on that particular moment, what sort of plans does it seem like they are making?
They were very quick. It sounded like a general hello between friends. We're here, and how you doing? And there was a response back, okay. And then I was gone. I was off. I was out of the room.
Wow. And you know what my response is to that when I hear it? I do so many interviews, Sarah, and I want what the audience wants. I want sensational stuff, right? We're here from Zeta Reticuli to take over the world, and we're here to, it's our hybrid program, and we're going to take some cows and your children, and it was like two people talking. It was unremarkable. It was not memorable. Just like if you walk into an office, everybody, and two people are talking over here, are you going to remember everything no, because it's just two people talking. And that's what it was. It was very strange to me how normal it was.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it more believable to me, because it wasn't like you were making something up, or you were, oh, I think people would like to hear this. No, you were really getting this information. And that in my mind was more valid.
I always I remember myself listening to stuff from the past, and listening to either a radio host or maybe it's a documentary and things, and I can almost hear what the interviewer is going to say. So what was the craft like on the inside? And then you always hear, it was this and this big technical description of stuff. And that's, and I understand what people are expecting to hear, right? I get that. That's not what happened here.
Well, I was really careful not to lead you in any way. Like if I had said, what does the craft look like? Or, something like that, then that would be too leading. I was like, what do you see? What are they doing?
You know what there's one thing that I say a lot in this session. I say no a lot. You're asking me, well, no. Well, no. It's like really strange in that, how do I say? The questions were great questions, but no, it didn't happen. No, they didn't. No. It was weird how I said no so much. And
they're only going to show you what they're going to show you. They're not going to show you something, maybe that you're not ready for, or more than what they wanted to show you. Even that little bit of flash of experience meant something or whatever. But I was curious because they were planning something and you just happened to be there. And you have a great perspective according to your higher consciousness. And that's why they took you there. So I was just wondering if you were part of the planning. Like, do you get a sense, or do you know, or did that feel right?
Yeah, no.
No.
It felt so it was just normal. It was just normal. It didn't feel in any way out of the ordinary. It wasn't extraordinary. It didn't have that vibe. It just felt like I was hanging out with the guys. And that was it, and I wasn't shown a star map. I didn't see any. No. It was just normal.
Well, you showed that you weren't afraid. That's huge. I mean, people really are afraid most of the time because they're not from Earth, So it's really hard for the body to be next to something like that and not feel fear.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a clip of this, but I might. But I spent some time talking about the physicality of, and they were taller than me, right? Now that was an interesting observation. Okay, so let me help everybody out here. I don't know if this is going to come out in one of the clips or not, but the figures were tall, thin. I don't want to say spindly, but they were just like average, high. They were taller than me. The two that were standing, they seemed a little hunched over, but it might have been because they were looking at something, right? I'm not sure, but they were tall and they were kind of hunched over at the very top, like they were leaning over a little bit. But the arms were long, the legs were long, the heads were. I don't want to mislead anybody here. They were just like egg oval, like not elongated skull stuff. I'm not talking about that. It was like, when you see somebody draw like a stick figure with a round head on the top, and right, kind of like that, right? It's just like a shape of a head. I could see the outline of the bodies, and like I said, they were black. Everything black. Now maybe they had black clothes on. I don't know. Didn't see it. But the head was definitely black. The arms were black. I didn't see any color. Even though the room itself was dark, like you're working in a dark office with computers on. I don't know how to explain it, but it was dimly lit. There was no light, but you could see, kind of like my studio. It's dark in here. Well, it looks lit up because I have lights on, but actually, if you look around the studio, it's dark in here. It's like that, right? And the only thing that's illuminating this room are these computer screens in front of me and these two lights that are here. But if these lights were off, this room would be dark and it would only be lit up by the computers. That's what I saw. So if there was skin color that wasn't black, I would have seen it. Do you follow what I'm saying? So they were black. They were black. Like not dark. They were just jet black. All of them. Yeah. And I've never heard in the thousands of interviews that I've done, I've never heard anybody say anything like this. It's very strange.
You know what I find really fascinating, that the higher consciousness has said that actually whatever being you're in contact with is using your own brain to reflect the image that you feel comfortable with. Because a lot of these beings have more of like a light body and they don't actually have much physicality at all, but you are rendering what you are perceiving them to look like. So it's interesting because some people could perceive a certain being to look one way while another person doesn't. There are some similar shapes and sizes that most of them render into our minds, or we render because they are helping us project that. But it's interesting because a lot has to do with your own internal frequency and world too. So you can actually have contact with different beings depending on how you're changing your own frequency. So it's so fascinating.
And I after this session, and I'm sure that people listening to this, they're gonna talk about Slender Man or shadow people or spirit beings and stuff. Slender Man scares the crap out of me. All right. I remember in Grand Theft Auto, there was a Slender Man section of Grand Theft Auto. I couldn't play. It freaked me out, man. Slender Man chasing you in this game and moving really slowly too. You can outrun, you can jump in the car, drive away. But I was terrified of that. There was nothing. I would be scared if I saw a spirit being. I would freak. I wasn't freaked out. There was nothing scary about what I was looking at. This wasn't the stuff of nightmares or anything. No, absolutely not. And I know it sounds strange to say because it sounds pretty freaky, but it wasn't. It was not at all. I was not freaked out. I'm not even freaked out now talking about it or picturing it again in my mind. I'm not. It's not.
What was the feeling like there? Because you were like, oh, it feels like, another day at the office. And they even said he's your higher self was like, he's friends. Like, what was the feeling like there?
Man, it was probably the feeling you get when you walk into the call center at Google or something, and a bunch of people on the phones. What is that scary? No, No,
Right.
it's not. It's not. When I say like walking into an office with a bunch of cubicles in it, yeah, that's exactly. Unless it was from the Matrix, that was pretty scary. But yeah, it just felt like that. It was so normal. It was. I keep saying it, but it was. And I remember, and we're gonna move on to this next clip. I remember at the beginning of the session when my higher self said he doesn't know. And when I was going, okay, so what don't I know, and what are you guys talking about? As this is going through my mind, then the whole thing is just like revealed to me, like hitting play on a video player, right? It was kind of like that, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. It's like you're being shown a video on your phone, and I shot this video of you earlier today. And you see, oh, okay, and you're going to watch it. It was like that. It didn't freak me out. I was not, it was weird. I should have been surprised, and I should have been this, and I should have been like, whoa, but I wasn't. Yeah, it was very interesting. The feeling that I got was it just felt too normal. Okay, here's the next clip. I don't know what this is. Let's see what it is.
Do you get a sense if they look at all human-like, or
very? Yes, there's a torso. There's arms. I don't see fingers. I don't see anything like that. It's dark, and they're fuzzy. They're out of focus. Feels very strange to me now to say this because I've never seen it before.
And their mouths, do you see the mouth move?
I'm looking at his mouth speak to what I'm thinking is military. They're speaking to some United States military that's on the ground. That's what it feels like to me, and I'm watching his mouth move, and I'm thinking to myself, he's speaking English in an American California accent perfectly coming out of his mouth, and I'm astonished.
You mentioned the military. Can you look and see if
you
see any
It felt that way to me. It sounded like he was talking to an air traffic controller. I don't know how to explain it, but it sounded very friendly and official, like it was two players on the same team.
And do you see any humans there as well?
No.
Okay. And what does it look like he's talking into?
I can't see it. His back is to me, and he's sideways to me. And there's two others. It looks, I think there's three. They're sitting in groups of three, and three.
Do you get a sense
why?
why?
Of the room.
Do you get a sense why they're sitting in threes?
They're working.
What does it look like they're doing?
I can't see.
Can
they
you
all
ask?
have jobs. They're just doing their thing.
What do their jobs look like?
Wow. I'm remembering this as I see it, everybody. I'm like reanalyzing, just like going along for the ride here and thinking about, so why?
I asked you if you saw any humans, and you said no.
Nope. I say no a lot. But that's a great question, though. right? And the reference, the military reference, that coming out of my mouth is a freaky thing, because I don't really look at things in that perspective, at least my 2D self, as I wear my Aliens Built Earth T-shirt, by the way, my Aliens Built Earth. To make this military reference, now I know that there are those out there that are going to go, oh, I knew it. I'm not saying that, but I am. What I am suggesting is a very quick thing that I heard being said. I say air traffic controller, like they're flying over a military base, and I guess I don't have facts here. I don't want to say that this is some definitive statement, but I say it under hypnosis. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the vibe that I got was like an aircraft carrier talking to a pilot flying overhead, that kind of conversation, or a civilian aircraft talking to that's the vibe that I got. And so, I say military. I do. I say military, and I'm a military brat. There was a reason why I said it, but there wasn't anything specifically said. Okay, this is Edwards Air Force Base, air traffic control signing off. No, I didn't hear anything like that. But I say the word military, and I find that very, 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 very interesting. That it was a nonchalant, just a conversation, but it felt official. Like it was a pilot to tower checking in as they were entering airspace or something, I guess.
Yeah, and it was interesting because you were saying that it's I don't know, and I was curious. You were saying that the other person or the person speaking had a Californian accent.
Yeah.
And they were speaking English.
Yes. Yeah. And now here's the other, we were talking about this earlier. I didn't get telepathy, right? I'm not, that's not, I didn't get that special treatment. I didn't get, he was speaking to me in my mind. I didn't know. Well, it did later. We'll get to that in just a second. But no, I got a guy in ET is speaking English. Right? California, what's up, dude? Like that. It was like that. It was.
I think we need crazy to do it again now that you've done it once, and to find out more about who was in that room.
Yeah, I don't. And it's funny that you bring that up. Could there be more? I don't think there is. It was so brief, and so quick. I don't. It's really weird because I've thought about it and had this repeat so much since we did the session. That's all I've got. Right, that's it. That's all I've got. It was so quick, So I don't know. Now, is there other events in my life that could be there? Possibly. I didn't know about this one, so I was pretty surprised about this because I didn't know about it.
Investigators use a hypnotist like me or somebody else to find out the perpetrator or like a license plate of a crime, then sometimes the hypnotist would work a couple times to try to like really get the person to see the license plate or to go back right when the crime is happening and get more details from the scene. So sometimes you can keep expanding that scene and see what else you can get.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I have next. Oh my goodness gracious. It's so much is popping back into my head as I'm remembering this stuff. Let's see. Same team. Let's see. Oh, I might have gone through all the clips. Oh no. Oh, here we go. All right. This is okay. So this clip, this blew my mind. Now I have done a lot of shows, Sarah. I have heard and said and thought about many things. This is interesting. All right. So we start to talk about disclosure. And you ask me about that, or maybe it was my higher self. I don't know. But this was my response. Here we go.
The educated need the example. So there can be no questions asked.
Like what type of example? What do you mean?
Okay, let me stop right there. I say the educated, right? The educated need convincing. They need evidence. The educated. What a crazy state. I've never said anything like that. I've never even had that thought. Right? And I've never said anything like this. The educated.
This has been coming through my sessions a lot, actually, because the higher consciousness keeps saying that not right now, it's not safe right now, but the treasure and artifacts that some of the Knights Templar hid in some of these really deep vaults, really down low, that when the time is right, and it won't be that long from now, that it will be stuff that people will have proof and there will be no denying it. And that's what the educated needs, is they need this proof. So I know you're going to get into the other clip, but it ties in with a lot of information that I've been getting in my sessions.
They need something that can be touched and shown. And that is what is about to happen.
What is about to happen?
Something that can be touched and shown.
Tell me more.
That's it.
What will we see? What will we be shown?
Something real.
Like what?
Anything that can be touched and shown.
When will
not
this,
talked about.
when will this happen?
It's happening now.
Yeah. It is. It's happening now. I'm getting that message all the time, that this is going to be uncovered soon, that, you know, people can't really hide this stuff anymore. More and more people are finding this type of information. But at one point in our near future, there will be stuff that you cannot deny, because it could be touched and shown to people, and it will have a full record of our history. But it's been hidden so that couldn't get it in the wrong hands. It wouldn't be destroyed. And some of these artifacts have been hidden, according to my clients, by some of the members of the Knights Templar and by other groups that were hiding this very, very valuable information in our history. But it was so carefully translated into the, you know, languages that we would understand. Very like time consuming and translated. And that is the most valuable treasure, actually, that a lot of these groups hid. And then they would put like in different layers, like gold and stuff like that. But that's not the real treasure. The real treasure is way below what is the surface level treasure. And when we get that, it'll be touched and shown and everyone will know.
When again, I'm just seeing this and hearing it virtually for the first time. I took these clips today. I got the beginning of the question, I got to the end of the question, and then I rendered the clip. I didn't hear, what was in the. It takes too long, right? It would have taken me 20 hours to put this show together. So anyway, I'm hearing now let me break this down a little bit. This is what I think I said, or I was trying to say. When I say the educated, I'm talking about professional scientists. Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? It's somebody that's educated, that absolutely has to touch and see something in order for them to get out of their mindset, something to pull them out of their cognitive dissonance, right? That's the vibe that I think that I'm saying here when I say educated. The PhDs of the world, the astrophysicists, the astronomers, the scientists, politicians, or whatever, that the educated, not the educated, you learn how to write and you've got an education, right? And you got through the 6th grade like me. No, it's not what I'm talking about here. I don't think. Talking about the brainiacs of the world that know it all. I think that's what I'm saying here. And yeah, that's where I'm going. And it's a powerful statement. And it's something that, Sarah, I've never thought like that. I've never said these things ever.
You didn't know that also, like, the type of information that I've been getting. I didn't talk to you about it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's very confirming.
So Sarah and I, we go to Mexico for a week, and we never talked about anything. All we did was goof off and have fun, right?
Yeah.
And we never talked about any of this stuff. Kind of strange when we look back and think about, ATVs or going to Cabo Wabo or, doing the stuff that we were doing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I'm sure people think that you and I are walking around going, okay, all right. So tell me about your last session. This is what I heard. Did you hear about what's going down now with the whistleblower? No, Sarah and I did not. The entire trip. I don't think we did. I almost said something wrong. Okay, so Sarah and I, we got involved into. I'm just going to say this. There was some breathing exercises going on for some meditation. Sarah taps me. Let's go. I don't want to say any more than that. And Sarah and I, when everybody's eyes were closed, Sarah and I snuck out of the room, went to Starbucks.
Man, my bill was so big. It's so long. Starbucks. It's like I had a Starbucks problem or something.
But yeah, we didn't talk about any of this stuff. When I watched you do your regression with what's her name?
I can't remember her name now.
Okay, but when I saw that go down, the information was amazing and the conversation and stuff. But that's what put me at ease. It was like, okay, I think I can do this. But it's about trust, right? I would never have gone under if I thought that somebody would misuse their power. Right?
Oh,
You know what I mean? Because
it's important.
you can find out anything that you want to find out about anybody, and if I didn't have that comfort, because I went under like that. I mean, I was tumbling. I was gone. I was right down the rabbit hole, man. Alice in Wonderland, immediately. Okay, before we run out of time, I'm going to show this because I do want to talk about this. Okay, here we go. This is the end of the session, everybody. Okay, just let me play it.
Wow, how long was that?
I don't know. I think it was maybe an hour. Oh, guess how long it was? An hour and 11 minutes.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
That felt like 3 minutes. Are you kidding me? Oh, my fingers are numb.
I told you not to cross anything.
They're completely numb.
I told you. It's okay.
That was an hour and 10 minutes?
No, an hour and 11 minutes. 111.
Wow. And okay, so let's actually break this down for a second. What you I didn't do the countdown or any of that, whatever, but I should have. I thought I had it there. She snaps her fingers, right? Sarah snaps her fingers. I think you snapped your fingers, right?
No,
you didn't. I don't remember. Okay, all I know is I open my eyes and right there, and I look at the cameras and went, "Oh crap!" I was hypnotized. I didn't remember any of it. And I'm looking at the cameras, and I turned to Sarah. I'm like, "Is it over? Are we done? How long was it?" And when you said an hour and 11 minutes, I was confused. I literally thought it was a couple of minutes. Yeah. Unreal. Are most of your sessions that long? Hour?
No, they're actually more like an hour and a half to 2 hours, like the actual hypnosis part. Yeah. Sometimes a little bit longer. But I try not to keep people under for over 2 hours.
So when I say my fingers are numb, I had them interlocked on my chest, right? When I came to, you know how your body parts have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
My fingers, I'm lucky I didn't have to have surgery, like frostbite. Jimmy, we're going to have to take those fingers off.
Well, I think I remember it was like, one telltale sign of deep hypnosis is that your hands and your feet feel a little bit like tingly or numb. But I think I told you, I was like, don't cross anything. And you were like, I'm fine like this. And I was like, okay.
Right. I was, so yeah, that's how long I was in that position for an hour and a half. And I thought, and I'm not kidding. Okay. So, and the reason why I jumped to that conclusion so quickly, as we were prepping for this show, which, it was a month or two of work and planning and putting all of this together, Into the Vortex, everybody, and go to Into the Vortex. The links are below, and you can go and watch season 1 and season 2. The show was 30 minutes long. And the way that we set up the show, there's no edits. We do the show, we tape for 30 minutes. That's it. That's the 30 minutes that you see. There's no edits, there's no clips, there's no nothing. And so in prepping for this, it was said in with the team, we need about 5 or 10 minutes of material because you guys are going to talk and analyze everything. And so it was always in the back of my mind, I guess, Sarah, that this session was going to be 10 minutes, right? We were going to get what we are going to need. And then the director is going to go, cut. We got it. And then I'm going to be brought out of it. And that's going to be it. So what was going through my mind was, did we get enough? Was I that, and when you said an hour, and no, that's not what was going through my mind. I didn't think that we had enough. I thought you brought me out too early. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's how hypnosis feels, though, a lot of the time. You feel like, oh, it's so fast, but really an hour went by. Very typical.
It's so much fun. So much fun. And I have to ask you before I let you go. And again, thank you, not only for the session, but for being who you are. You are somebody that everybody enjoys being around, and you really know what you're doing. You've got some real talent. But I have learned a lot from doing this show and being a part of this community over the years. Is it the same thing for you? What have you, if you have a big takeaway from your sessions, what is it that you have learned?
Well, honestly, this is so incredibly fun for me. I remember I was talking to you and I was like, I just love it so much because I get to learn all the secrets of the universe. And I feel so lucky that I get to share this information. And I just feel so blessed that I'm able to do this. It's so fun. I love writing the books. And I think the biggest takeaway I have, because I've done so many sessions and I do sessions on like a daily basis, is that there really isn't anything to worry about. And I hear all these other theories and I hear people talking, but it's a different story that I hear from my clients deep under hypnosis and hearing countless higher selves, that everything is right on track. People are always worried about things like, can you, steal a soul? And that's like, can you steal your God self? I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is that there is nothing to worry about. You are so taken care of. You have so much help. And, don't believe me, just look back on your life, how everything unfolded for you. That's not going to end. That's going to continue, but it's going to get stronger and stronger as this light wave and this frequency continues to blast our planet coming up from the central part of the earth and everything. And we're going to develop this communication, not only with our higher selves, but really with other people. And honestly, I know there's lots of fear out there, but the biggest takeaway I would say is that there is nothing to worry about. But also, the higher consciousness is always telling my clients that there is something people can do to really help humanity right now. And you know what that is? That is to work on yourself. Because if you can master yourself and become like a spiritual master of yourself, what is actually happening is that leaves an imprint on this consciousness. So as you master who you really are meant to be, that imprint is permanent. Other people have done this, like Buddha or Jesus. When you master yourself and you leave this permanent imprint, anyone, any consciousness can tap into it. And in that way, you are helping not only the collective, but yourself. So it's something you can do.
And thank you for that. You're going to be speaking at the Conscious Life Expo. And what are you going to be talking about? What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to be talking all about how to activate the ancient wisdom within yourself, in your DNA. A lot of people don't realize, or were never taught, that our blood types and our eye colors actually are significant. I never knew this, but I've started to learn this all throughout the years because we're projecting different information through our eyes. So your iris contains the blueprint of your soul, actually. So if you look at all the rings and stuff, that's telling another soul information. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what the higher consciousness has said, just about different people's memories. And when I give presentations, I like to show actual clips of what the higher consciousness is saying under hypnosis so people can hear for themselves and just see the latest information that has been coming through my sessions and how it can really benefit them, because that's what it's all about, is really helping everyone learn this information. But I don't know how people would have access to it if I didn't speak about it or share this information. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm also doing a post workshop where I'm going to show people how to lose weight through self-hypnosis. Something super fun. Because people always ask me, I had 3 kids and people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, hypnosis. I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to show you what I do, the different tools and techniques.
I think I need to attend that one.
Oh my God. Everybody would just be excited if you came. I think. Oh my God.
Sarah, you're the best. Safe travels. Have fun with what you're doing right now. You're in an Airbnb because you are working. Safe travels out here to California. I can't wait to see you. And we're going to have a great time at the Conscious Life Expo. Everybody, consciouslifeexpo.com. The links are below. Get your tickets for Sarah. And when you see her, you'll see the glowing ray of light that follows her everywhere she goes. Go up to her and say hello. All right? Sarah, behave and be well. My best to you and your family. Thank you for everything. You're the absolute greatest. You're the best. Thank you, Sarah.
You are. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Sarah. I'll see you February. I'm going to see you on the 8th, right? Yeah. The show starts on the 9th. I'll see you the night before. All right. Or the day before. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Sarah Breskman Cosme. That was an intense session. It was fun. Wow. And now you got a little taste of what went down. And I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you, everybody. It's been a great week here on Fade to Black. And I just want you to have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. And let me roll this. Wow. And, and I'm remembering as I watched tonight, that's what was so fascinating. Yeah, I'm glad that I did it this way. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Thank you, John on the side. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until Monday, I want everybody to have a great, safe, fun, and amazing weekend. I want you to be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.